28.
Well, you think of Pittsburgh. You got
let's break it down because
Okay.
I think a lot of people don't realize the history of Joshua Dobbs, Tennessee.
Pittsburgh.
He's he went to the University of Tennessee. He gets drafted by the Steelers in the 4th round in 2017. Spends a couple years there not getting any time because he's Ben Roethlisberger's backup.
Yep.
He then gets moved to the Jacksonville Jaguars, traded for a 5th round pick. He was traded after Mason Rudolph won the backup job, and then the Jags, Nick Foles got hurt.
Right.
So he had a role there, but didn't last long at all. He gets waived right away, goes back to the Steelers for a second stint, re-signs for 1 year, but then he gets placed on the injury reserve. Then he signs with the Cleveland Browns, a 1-year, $1 million deal. He was waived on November 28th when Deshaun Watson got off of his suspension. He goes to the Lions for basically a cup of coffee and is on the practice squad. Then he gets moved to Tennessee. Yeah. This is all last year in 2002. So Ryan Tannehill gets hurt, and Malik Willis was underperforming. They bring him in. They name him the starter on week 17, and he did pretty well. 20 of 39, 232 yards, had his first career touchdown pass and an interception in a loss. Then Coach Vrabel says, we're going to put you in for the next game, which was a big game where they needed to win the game to get to the playoffs. He goes 20 of 29, 179 yards to go with a touchdown and a reception. However, he gets sacked late in the game by I can't remember who it was with the Jaguars, and he fumbles the ball, and then the Jags return it to 37 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. 3 minutes left. Titans lose 20-16, and they're out of the playoffs. He then goes back to the Cleveland Browns for a second stint. That was in March of this year, and then, of course, the trade. So there's your history on Joshua Dobbs.
Can we the term journeyman? Can we just put his photo next?
I don't think you can say that because that's over 2 years.
Yeah, I mean,
journeyman. I think of Fitzpatrick, or I think of Josh McCown, Colt McCoy.
Yes.
Guys that are serviceable that have been around a long time.
Yeah,
his numbers. He's completed 58% of his passes. 450 yards total. He's got 3 interceptions to 2 touchdowns. So I mean. He's not a starter in the NFL.
No. I think the only reason why I think Monty Ossenfort and Gannon brought him in is because that maybe his stint more or less at Tennessee, knowing he can handle the pressure.
2 weeks,
2
playoffs.
Weeks, he did pretty damn good. Aside from the fumble, so they felt they watched Colt McCoy, who didn't really look healthy to me at all during the entire training camp. They said, well, he's got more upside. This year's a wash anyway. Let's bring him in. He knows the system. He knows what we want to do. Let Colt go. And there could be some, that league minimum situation involved here too.
Well, the money part of it is the Cardinals are going to eat $2.25 million of the only $3.75, which was guaranteed for this year. So it's not
a big amount of money.
That's not a lot at all.
But then on top of that, now you see, okay, they'll keep obviously Clayton Tune and David Blau.
Clayton Tune did not look good.
No, he didn't. So my whole thing is, okay, if you're going to start Joshua Dobbs game 1 in Washington, I would make sure David Blau's my backup.
Yes.
Because you don't want a rookie quarterback coming in on the road, his first start. I mean, his first backing up.
I heard someone else saying the same thing today. And I'm looking at myself and I'm saying to myself, all right, Houston, Carolina. Okay. I mean, I could go on and on with rookie quarterbacks that are starting on day one, but why is it different for Phoenix that they can't start or Arizona can't start?
He's not the Bryce Young of the world. He's not the
that's not what he thinks.
Well, but here's
I mean, remember the draft? He thought he was better than all of them.
Okay, but here's what the Cardinals are going. Those teams are going. You got
where are they going? They're the same boat the Cardinals are.
Carolina's got a pretty decent team around Bryce Young. Okay, so you look at Houston's got nothing to lose.
Okay,
let's play
DJ
the young guy.
is getting the nod.
He's going to get the nod. He's going to play. Hey, we're just going to play it out and go from there. Same with the Colts. Richardson will be
a bad team too.
He'll be a bad team. So at this point, I think the Cardinals want to have a little. They don't want to just throw him into the fire like that. They'd rather have a guy that's been there and done that, at least initially. If the kid falls flat on his face, Joshua Dobbs 3 or 4 games in, or they can withstand the storm till Kyler Murray's available for that 5th game and he's ready to play, then they can do that.
That's the other issue right there. On the PUP list now is Kyler Murray, so he has to miss the first 4 games. Manuch, before we hit the air, you came up with a good point. If he's not available by game 5, they could place him on IR, and then he would not be available until game 8.
And at that point, folks,
Why is that a big deal?
Because
Let's be honest. We all thought he'd be back October, November anyway.
Oh,
Why? I mean, a lot of talking heads are, he's on the PUP. He's going to miss the 4 games.
No,
we all knew that.
Oh,
we all said that.
that's no surprise at all.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I think it's surprising.
But if they put him on the IR, well, who cares?
Well, another 4 games, and what the basically you're saying is, okay, that team at that point, no matter who's quarterbacking, with the lack of depth that they have, this team will be in the tank the whole season.
Oh, yeah.
And to your point, Rock, if he's still not completely healthy, not available for the 8th game, and all of a sudden they're like 2-6 or 1-7 after 8 games, they'll play him, I'm sure, just to make sure he plays. At that point, it's for loss anyway.
Yeah, and that leads into our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question today after watching this Cardinals team this preseason. How many games do you